Hello everyone and welcome to Superman Homepage Live, brought to you by supermanhomepage.com, the #1 Superman fan site in the world. In this, our March 13th, 2023 show, we're going to be covering a range of topics, including some new debunking of rumors for Superman Legacy. We're going to be talking about Dwayne Johnson's thoughts on Henry Cavill's situation, new comic books, Steelworks comic book. We've got Season 3 of Superman and Lois. We've got so much to get through tonight. And to let you know how all that works and how you can get involved in tonight's show, let me introduce you to my co-host, Michael Bailey. Hello, Michael.
Hey, Steve. How's it going?
Doing well. You guys travelled back in time. Daylight savings kicked in.
We traveled forward in time. It's fall back, spring forward, as they say, which means on my day off, I lost an hour of sleep. And then spent the entire day feeling like I was constantly behind.
That's the way it works.
It's that's just unfortunately how everything works. But no one wants to hear about daylight savings time. I mean, I'm sure people in Australia are probably, like, why are we changing the time of this thing? But this is Superman Homepage Live. People watching us live right now on YouTube and other places want to hear us talk about Superman, and we want to hear from you. So to do that, and if we don't have a whole lot to talk about, which tonight, looking like a stacked deck, but you can try to call in, and you just go to supermanhomepage.com/live to do that. Press the call now button. You get in the green room. You get to see and watch the show as it happens. Now, if you do get on, please mute if you have an external speaker, because we are in a bit of a delay that screws things up. Or if you want to use your phone, you can take it out and do that handy dandy QR code right there and get into the green room. The only thing we ask is if you do use your phone, please use a headset or Bluetooth speakers, whatever they're called, AirPods, etc. Because if you don't, it like gets really weird.
Yes. So do all those things, but if you're a little bit shy and don't want to get on the phone and talk with us tonight, then feel free to post your comments right there on YouTube, Facebook. We're also on Twitter tonight, broadcasted across all those 3 platforms. Post your comments, ask questions. Michael and I will keep an eye on that, and we'll react to them as the show goes along. There's also on YouTube things called a super chat. There's a little dollar symbol there. You click on that, select the dollar amount you're willing to donate. We will feature your comment or question live on the screen as we go along. There's also super thanks and super stickers if you want to give them a try on YouTube as well. And thank you to our sponsors and patrons, Douglas Meacham, John Patrick Van Pelt, and Tina Murray. Remember, you can support Superman Homepage simply by clicking the dollar symbol there on YouTube, or the join button below, I should say. And there's also patreon.com/Superman Homepage. Feel free to promote any type of business or thing you got going on. We're happy to have your support here on Superman Homepage Live. Well, Mike, as I said, you guys have kicked into daylight savings, which changed the time for us here in the Southern Hemisphere. With you guys, 7:30 p.m. Pacific time stays. It's obviously Pacific Daylight Time for you, which means it moved forward a little bit earlier in the day for us. So for anybody who got caught out afterwards, I apologize. I put up a message on our social media platforms, and you had enough warning, but hopefully if you missed out this week because it was a little bit earlier than you were expecting, then you can catch us again next week at the correct time. But it is always available on our YouTube channel, also on our different platforms. And we also have audio versions only, so if you don't want to have a look at Mike and I's ugly faces, then you can just listen to our ugly voices.
I do have a face for radio. That is very true.
Oh, we both do. Don't worry about that. We're lucky that anybody watches us. But we are thankful that everybody is tuning into tonight, and we do have a lot to talk about. So let's get into the movie side of things, where James Gunn, co-CEO of Superman Homepage Live. Wouldn't that be nice? Co-CEO of DC Studios has been at it on social media again, on Twitter. Someone asked him if there's any truth to some of the rumors going on that there was a casting call issued looking for actors aged 20 to 30 to play Superman. And James Gunn replied, no, a casting director hasn't even been hired, so can't do casting without a casting director. But
yeah,
that's interesting. But there is talk of just the actual director with Tom King, who is a writer at DC, who has obviously written the Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, which they're also developing as a movie down the track sometime. He said in an interview with Comic Pop Returns that James Gunn is the writer and director of Superman Legacy, which hasn't officially been announced. Is that just a slip of the tongue, or is he revealing something that he knows but shouldn't have told?
Yeah, I mean, it certainly got people talking. So I guess if that was his goal, he succeeded. Um, how does a head of a studio direct a film? I mean, now it wouldn't be the first time DC did something like that. I mean, one of the co-publishers like drew one of the main books that launched the New 52. So, it's possible, but directing a movie requires a lot of time.
Yeah.
And I just don't like he would not be only directing a film, he would be like dealing with all of the other things involving the studio while he's on set. So it's just like, I don't know if he would want to do that. I'm sure he would probably handpick the director if it's not him, obviously, because he's not going to give his script to just anybody.
Exactly.
Or maybe because it's the launch of the Superman in the first big film. Maybe he wants to like have his stamp on it.
You never know. He might be trying to set the tone for what's coming down, as far as the DC slate is concerned. That is always a possibility. But yeah, it does seem to be stretching yourself a little bit thin to be co-CEO of a studio and direct a film and write whatever else is going on and what you're doing. So yeah, interesting times. Wait and see if that ends up being true, that he is the director of the film as well as writing the script. But we wait to see. But yeah, no casting director as yet, so no casting. You can go and fan cast all you like and tell people who you think should be the next Superman. But they haven't announced a casting director yet or hired one, so no casting news will be forthcoming in the immediate future anyway.
It's probably going to be Tom Welling.
We know it won't be Henry Cavill. That's unfortunately the truth. But
Yes.
As far as movies are concerned, Michael Shannon, who is coming back to play General Zod in the upcoming movie The Flash, was interviewed recently by Looper.com, and he said he was a little bit confused at first when they asked him to come back to play General Zod, because he said, I'm pretty sure I died at the end of Man of Steel. So what's going on there? But he said, I loved making Man of Steel. I loved working with director Zack Snyder, and I felt like it was actually, in a way, a fairly important film. It was nice to revisit the character. I wasn't there for a terribly long time. I was in and out in a couple of weeks, so it was a nice way to spend a little bit of my summer in England. He said the director, Andy Muschietti, is a lovely guy and a great artist visually, and I had a blast. So it's nice to hear that he has a soft spot for Superman, for playing General Zod, and for working on Man of Steel.
Yeah, he just seems constantly like bewildered about everything involving him being part of this after Man of Steel.
Yeah.
Like, I remember he was, when he was, putting out the kind of fake, I guess, trolling the audience a little bit, talking about how, he was part of the filming of Batman v Superman when it turned out to just be basically a dummy, essentially.
Yeah.
And, here, I'm sure he's just, I just want to see that phone call. It's just like, we want you to play General Zod. What? We want you to play General Zod. Isn't he dead? Yeah, there's a multiverse.
A what?
Send me the script.
Yeah, send me the script, exactly. He said, as for whether he changed his performance or not, he said, I tried to get back into his skin. He's a little different in this film. He's a little more, I don't know how you put it, you don't spend as much time with him, so you don't really get to know as much about what he's thinking. It's not necessarily his movie. That's the thing with these multiverse movies. You get a little bit of this and a little bit of that, but it's really Ezra Miller's movie. So there you have it. Yeah, he's come back. He's playing General Zod. I saw a few people on social media say, I thought they just reused old footage. But no, he's back as General Zod, who comes to an Earth where there is no Superman. Instead, there is a Supergirl who has been kept, as we know, hidden away, a captive. And there is a battle between her and General Zod. We actually see a frame of her punching him in the face. Yeah, it's all new footage of General Zod, of Michael Shannon playing General Zod.
Yeah, I'm just kind of fascinated by the whole thing. I'm glad that he came back. I mean, that's
Yeah,
cool. It would have been really weird to recast him, simply because they were trying to make it that this is what would happen if Superman wasn't there to stop Zod.
exactly.
Uh, I, I will say I hope there's something in the movie about she has a signal that goes out to say that she's there,
That's
because the
how he
only reason he
found
came to
Earth.
yeah, it's the only reason he found Earth is because Clark activated the Fortress of Solitude. So
Yeah, when he
I know
activated
bringing logic
that's
into this not the best
yeah,
idea.
I know. I mean, he may have eventually found Earth if he was scouring the universe for, different places where Kryptonians had, set foot on different planets to try to colonize them, which we saw him doing, and he only found dead bodies, and that's how he found the Black Zero back in Man of Steel. But as for how he finds Earth in this iteration of the story, they might not even go into it. They might just, have him come into Earth and that be that. But yeah, so we'll wait and see how General Zod is involved in the Flash movie when it comes out later this year. But we spoke about Henry Cavill a little bit earlier. Dwayne Johnson was at the red carpet for the Academy Awards, which was it last night, your time?
Yep. Yeah,
Yes.
it was last night.
So, and yeah, some really emotional scenes there with the winners of some awards, well deserved. I've seen all the films that were pretty much the ones that had won the awards. Everything, everywhere, all at once. If you haven't seen it, geez, and you like multiverse films, get into it. It's wacky. It's sausage hands. I mean, come on. But yeah. Anyway, Michael's looking at me going, "What?" Dwayne
You know
Johnson
what I
was
like? I like context. That's what I like.
well. You have to watch the film to understand.
I understand.
If you have, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's weird, but Dwayne Johnson was on the red carpet in his very schmick pink satin tuxedo, and was asked by a Variety's reporter for his thoughts on what happened with Henry Cavill. And here is what he had to say. He kind of gave it a bit of a. He's a heavy thinker when it comes to. He takes his time answering questions. Have a listen.
Henry Cavill, you brought him back, but now they're saying he's not playing Superman. What do you say to that? What's your reaction?
You know, all that I could do and that we could do when we were making Black Adam was to put our best foot forward, surround ourselves with the best people, and then also deliver the best movie we could. Our audience score was in the 90s. Critics, took a couple of shots. That's just the business of it, though. But I think it's almost like when you have a pro football team and your quarterback wins championships, the head coach wins championships, and you have a new owner. And the new owner comes in, says, not my coach, not my quarterback. I'm going to go with somebody new.
Thoughts?
Was Black Adam that successful? Look, just because something scores in the high 90s doesn't mean that it made the money that the studio wanted it to make. And I'm not saying anything bad about Dwayne Johnson. He seems like a kind of a lovely individual. Dude wears pink. I mean, that's kind of awesome. I mean, Superman likes pink very much, Lois. But he makes a good point, and again, I don't know what all the backroom machinations were. I don't know if Warner Brothers was actually entering in a deal with Dwayne Johnson at the same time that they were courting James Gunn, which is possible. So from his perspective, he was supposed to come in and probably be the guy, and then something happened and they went in a different direction. I I do like that he doesn't blame the critics, which is kind of refreshing. To do with the superhero film, because the critics they're either the greatest things ever or they're in a conspiracy cahoots to ruin win Batman v Superman's Rotten Tomato score because that mattered somehow. But I do like that he is very diplomatic. I will say that too.
Oh yeah,
that's the final thing I want to say. That man is really good at not at kind of getting his opinion out there, but not like burning the room down in the process.
yeah, and it is a fair. I mean, I understand where he's going with his, idea on, what, why he thinks Warner Brothers didn't, his, I guess, metaphor. Okay, Black Adam wasn't a championship-winning movie, if you want to put that in that context. But what it was is that, new owners came in. They said, listen, we're going in a different direction. And that's that. That's the business. And there may have been an overlap between when the people who were there were discussing with Dwayne Johnson about what they wanted to do and what he wanted to do, and the new owners and the new CEOs coming in and saying, no, this is actually where we want to go. And so there probably was an overlap. And I just feel sorry for Henry, as I've said multiple times, because I think he was the meat in the sandwich. And, it didn't go well for him, and it looked poor it was poor form the way it was handled, because he was told, yes, you can come out and announce it, and then, sorry, we're pulling the rug out from underneath you. So I think Henry was done poorly by both Dwayne Johnson and by the people at Warner Brothers, because I think Dwayne was probably pumping things up a bit more than he actually probably had the right to, and I think the people at Warner Brothers who had done the handshake deal with Henry probably should have had it in writing first.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully there was some kind of pay or play contract. I mean, if you look at like the history of the Batman films, like there was like 2 or 3 people that were paid to be in a Batman film, specifically Batman Returns, that weren't in the film and got paid. Marlon Wayans being one of them, because he was supposed to be the Robin of the film.
Yeah.
So it's just hopefully he got something.
Yeah.
I know he got paid for the cameos, which for the amount of time that you're on set, it seems like a pretty sweet deal.
Oh, for sure.
In all honesty,
100%. So it just was a bad look, money aside. But let's move on and look at what else is coming out. We finally got the official announcement from Warner Brothers Discovery about their remastered Max Fleischer's Superman animated shorts. The 17 animated shorts were remastered from original 35mm source elements, and will be available to own on digital HD and Blu-ray on May 16th. And the official look at the cover is right there. The 17 theatrical shorts with an all-new featurette, Max Fleischer Superman Speeding Towards Tomorrow. The official press release released this past week. And all 17 cartoons. Then it did kind of start an interesting kind of discussion on social media about a supposed lost episode that was made in like 1947 or something. I'm thinking, that's a fair bit after. That's like 4 years after the last one. And I've never heard much. It seems like
something that would have come up by now.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm surprised that that was an interesting topic that came up in discussions. People talking about a lost episode that brought back the cast.
Yeah, I didn't see that. That would be interesting, but to what end?
Yeah.
I mean, they're deep into the radio show at that point, so it's not implausible that they would have done that. But I think at that point, if you would have had a Superman thing in your pocket, you would have put that out.
Yeah, it seemed bizarre to me that this thing had supposedly happened and we'd never heard about it for the last 50 years.
I mean, it's not like a studio would completely shelve a film that's completed. I mean, that's just crazy talk.
That's unheard of. But yeah, looking forward to this remastered Blu-ray set. I love the Fleischer animated series. I think they're so good, and they still stand up today for the production value. Some of the stories are obviously a product of their time. Yeah, they're a product of their time. You leave it at that.
But you get a lot of really good, like what we consider classic Superman moments, kind of for the first time.
Yep.
So, it's first time he flew on screen, first time changed in a phone booth, whole 9 yards.
Yeah, exactly. Now, also on the movie side of things, we've got the world premiere of the highly anticipated film Justice League RWBY Superheroes and Huntsmen Part 1. Tongue firmly in cheek there, but it will be premiering during the weekend of what is it? The WonderCon 2023 at Anaheim, California. Screening will be followed by a panel discussion with the cast and filmmakers. Saturday, March 25th at 1:30 p.m. in North 200A. That's obviously the room that is at WonderCon. So if you're into anime, if you're into RWBY, and you want to see the de-aged anime Justice League, go for it.
Yeah, I'm not even really thinking about getting this and I'm kind of a completist when it comes to this sort of thing, and even I'm looking at it going, that looks like something I wouldn't enjoy at all. Yeah, I just, again, we're old men, so...
well, I mean, the film does say that this film finds the Justice League facing off against a new horror, adolescence. So, yes, we are old men, and adolescence is way behind us.
Yeah, well, at the time, we had an onion on our belt, which was the style at the time.
What? Okay.
It's a Simpsons reference.
Right,
Grandpa was talking about how when he was a union buster, they can't do that anymore, but they could tell boring stories. Like the time he had to get a new heel for his shoe, and he had an onion on his belt, which was the style at the time. And it's just this long, rambling story that's really funny.
Yeah, a few comments to reference in our chat on YouTube. Capes, Tights, and Lightsabers say, every time we talk about Justice League RWBY, he thinks of Ruby Spears, as in the Ruby Spears cartoons from the 1980s, which were one season of an awesome animated cartoon. This is RWBY as in RWBY, and it's an acronym for the 4 people from Remnant who make up these characters: Ruby, Weiss, Blake, and Yang. So there you have it. The Nostalgic Pod Blast asks, can you guys take phone calls? Yes, Michael did the whole spiel at the beginning of the show. I'll put up the QR code for you right now. There it is. You can scan that. You get into the green room, or you can just go to supermanhomepage.com/live, and there's a call now button. So if you are keen and you want to get on the show tonight, that is what you have to do, and you can watch the show while you wait for us to answer your call. We do have a lot to talk about tonight, so that may not happen, but you are free to call in. All right, quickly, you can win double passes to the Sydney event that I'll be hosting at the Hayden Orpheum Picture Palace in Cremorne here in Sydney for the double feature of Superman the movie and Superman 2 the Richard Donner cut. That will be taking place on Sunday, April 23rd at 6 p.m. We are giving away 5 double passes, so you can win one of 5 double passes to this screening. All you have to do is simply answer a question and fill out the form on our website. So if you are in Sydney and you can make your own way to the Hayden Orpheum on Sunday, April 23rd for the 6 p.m. screening of this double feature, which will, as I said, be hosted by myself with me doing a bit of an intro at the beginning, then feel free to enter the contest on our website.
That's exciting. I'm really, really excited for you.
Thanks. Yeah, and I will hopefully be able to record that intro that I do, the little 10 minute talk that I give. So I'll, for those who obviously won't be able to be there, like yourself, I will hopefully be able to post that later on. All right, did you catch this little short fan film that was released this week on YouTube? It was titled Laundry Day, and it goes for about 16 minutes. It's a fan film that has, it's like a cute little, well, they call it a meet cute at a laundromat that discover, between two strangers who discover they have something uncommon in common. I'm going to play a little bit of the intro to it, so take a look.
I forgot to breathe when you walked into view, but you were breathing just fine as you walked by. You're so fast, I blinked and then you were gone, just like that. That's my life with you, my life without you. I just wanna fly and catch up to you. 'Cause you fly so high, I can't keep up with you.
So there's just a little bit of the film. It's obviously who you think it is, Clark and Lois. So it's well done. I really enjoyed it. The ending is a little bit weird, but it's worth looking into. And there are some post-credit scenes, of course. There always are in this day and age. But if you're interested to check out this 16-minute short fan film, Laundry Day is what it's titled, and you can do that at supermanhomepage.com.
It looks cute.
Yeah, it's worth checking out. I liked it. I thought it was well done. So, full of anxiety of meeting someone like you, someone you like, and ruining it is a bit of a tagline there. Capes, Tights, and Lightsabers says, Steve and Mike, thank you both for being the amazing people that you are. Your undying love for the Man of Steel is absolutely incredible. Love getting to catch up with everyone each week. Oh, that's very nice. Appreciate those comments.
Yeah.
Thank you. So,
Virginia Keller's right that that movie does kind of remind me of Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog, because there was a lot of scenes at a laundromat there too. So
Okay.
she's got a point.
Very cool. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We're almost at the halfway point of tonight's. What did you see?
It's just Douglas Meacham quoting the "Waiting for Superman" song. He got stuck at the laundromat washing his cape.
Very good. Thank you, Doug.
I got that song stuck in my head.
Yeah. All right, as I said, we're going to take a quick break, almost at the halfway point of tonight's show, play some messages, then we're going to come back and talk about Superman and Lois. It's back, Season 3, starting this week, tonight, tomorrow. What is it? Tomorrow night.
Tomorrow.
Yes. So we've got a couple of things to talk about for that. So we'll be back right after these messages. Don't go anywhere, folks. We've got Superman and Lois stuff to talk about. We've got This Week in History. We've got the fan favourite segment. A lot of entries this week to talk about Superman 3. And we've got comic book stuff. So heaps to get through in the second half hour of our program.
We'll be back in a moment with the exciting climax of today's episode. So stand by.
If you're enjoying Superman Homepage Live, then please like and share this video with your family and friends. Also, if you'd like to subscribe to our YouTube channel, then you can click on the bell to receive notifications whenever we post a new video. You can also join our YouTube membership program, just click the join button below. Or you can become a patron and support our website by going to patreon.com/supermanhomepage.
Look, up in the sky.
It's a bird.
It's a plane. No, it's SupermanHomepage.com, the #1 Superman fan site in the world. SupermanHomepage.com, covering the world of Superman from the 1930s to today. News, reviews, rumors, and reports. SupermanHomepage.com for all your Superman comics, TV shows, movies, cartoons, radio shows, and more. Everything you ever wanted to know about the Man of Steel and more. SupermanHomepage.com.
Thanks, Superman Homepage, for all the support over the years. I really appreciate it.
I'm Matt Bomer. I'm the voice of Superman in Superman Unbound, and this is the Superman Homepage.
Right here on Superman Homepage.
Coming from the farthest reaches of the universe to challenge the worst villains on Earth are the most powerful heroes ever in the battle of the Superpowers Collection. Can it be the Supermobile on the attack, the Lexor 7 armed with kryptonite, or the Supermobile repel those deadly rays?
You bet. Ready for battle. Activate RAM.
New from Kenner's Superpowers Collection. Vehicles and figures with power action, each sold separately. Flying lessons for Penguin, fish bait for Luther. Can the Supermobile defeat the Lexor 7? You decide.
And we're back on Superman Homepage Live. Before we get into the TV side of things, I've got an idea that I want to kind of put to Superman fans to see if they're willing to kind of, let's try something, let's make a bit of a splash on social media, get like a meme kind of thing happening, where a trend, if you like. You remember the planking and all those kind of things that people did. Nothing as dangerous as that, because people did some crazy things back in the day with that, and there was the ice bucket challenge and things like that. But I was thinking maybe doing a Superman challenge this year, since it's Superman's 85th anniversary. I'd like to see people, and let's see if we can run with it. Just as the first time I'm announcing it anywhere, is let's see if we can get people filming themselves, whether you put it on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, wherever, doing the shirt rip. So, button-up shirt, ripping it open. Okay, don't bust your buttons if you can help it. And revealing the S shield behind it, in a t-shirt like what I'm wearing today, or any Superman shirt. Doing it in front of like an iconic place in the world. So like if you're in France, doing it in front of the Eiffel Tower. If you're in, New York, doing it in front of, say, the Empire State Building, or maybe that's probably
I think if you're going to do it in New York, you should go to the Daily News building.
Yes. Okay.
In front of that giant globe.
But if you're in anywhere in particular, you're maybe in Sydney, you do it in front of the Opera House. If you're anywhere in the world where you've got if you're in Egypt, do it in front of the Sphinx or something like that. So let's get out there and use the hashtag. What's it? Superman Challenge. Superman Challenge is a hashtag. Get out there. Do the shirt rip scene, film it in front of everywhere and anywhere in the world that you think is pretty iconic, and let's see if we can get it trending.
Yep, that'd be kind of fun.
Superman Challenge is the hashtag. Let's try to get that out there so that when it comes down to April, when Superman is celebrating his 85th anniversary, we get out there with the hashtag Superman Challenge, and we've got people videoing themselves doing the shirt rip in front of some iconic places around the world. And let's see how many places around the world we can get it done at. So that's the challenge, folks. Get out there and get to it. Michael and I will try to participate. I'm going to try something.
I'll figure out something. I don't go out much. I'm kind of a homebody. In all honesty.
Do it in your backyard, Mike.
I am. In May, I am going to Universal Studios.
Nice.
So maybe I'll do something there.
Yep. Cool.
That might be fun.
Yeah, there it is. Hashtag Superman Challenge. Try it out. Let's see how we go with it. All right, let's get on to the Superman and Lois Season 3, the premiere tomorrow night, 8 p.m. on the CW. We have, the news that they've already wrapped filming. Season 3 is done. They've wrapped it. They've done it. All the episodes have been filmed. The Instagram post by Emmanuel Triqui, who plays Lana Lang Cushing, she posted a couple of photos on her Instagram account where she showed the cast there. Not everyone's involved, but there they are. I don't know what happened to Paul. What's her name with her foot with the crutches? But nevertheless, there is the cast there. They finished filming Season 3, which means hopefully no gaps in the season, no breaks for any COVID issues or other issues that might, stall filming, because they wrapped it all, and it looks like they had a lot of fun.
Yeah. No, it does seem to be a pretty tight-knit cast.
Yeah.
I feel kind of bad for the woman playing Chrissy Beppo there.
Yeah, it's like, what's the goal going on there? So, so she wrote on, Manuel wrote, and it's a wrap on season 3 of Superman and Lois. What a journey this season was. One that promises to be an absolute thrill ride for you guys. The cast is brilliant, goofy, hilarious cast, has completely captured my heart. I couldn't feel more blessed or lucky to work and play with this group. Not pictured is our beloved General Dylan Walsh and Sophie, my youngest daughter, Jocelyn Pickard. Lastly, none of this would have been possible without all our most incredible showrunners, writers, producers, and hands down greatest crew ever. My heart is so full, dreams come true. And Eric Valdez, who plays her on-screen estranged husband, said, I love this entire group so much. It's pretty cool.
It's kind of nice to hear that they all get along and are having a good time making it, because you don't want to.
Yeah.
You don't like to hear from shows when they're all like hate each other.
I know, and it has happened. There are shows that we know of that the cast didn't get along, especially towards the end of like Lois and Clark. Dean Cain and Terry Hatcher supposedly were at odds. But yeah, so I'm glad to see they all got along and that they've wrapped filming. And we do have descriptions for season 3, episodes 2 and 3. The second episode is called Uncontrollable Forces. And in this episode, it says, Clark and Chrissy both notice a small crack in Lois's game face. Meanwhile, Sarah and Jordan have an awkward encounter. Lastly, Lana receives a panicked phone call. Then in the third episode of season 3, titled In Cold Blood, Lois and Chrissy pursue a new lead in the Mannheim investigation against Clark's wishes. Meanwhile, Jonathan, Jordan, and Nat's attempt at a kind gesture is complicated by an unexpected obstacle. Lastly, Lana, Sarah, and Kyle adjust to their own new normal. So they're the titles and descriptions for the second and third episode of this new season. We also got some photos for the second episode of season 3, which I just mentioned, the title being, what did I say it was? Uncontrollable Forces. Here we have some photos. You can see there, Lois does not look completely happy, and there are the twins, looking very much like twins, and a couple more photos. Thoughts?
I'm just looking forward to everything. I'm really excited for this season. Hey, it's Lana and John. Huh. Is that breakfast? Huh.
Let me have a look. Can't tell. Looks like fruit on their plate.
No, I'm just really excited for the new season. My Facebook memories have been postings of last season when the podcast that Bethany Allison and I do would be on. I just missed the show. I'm so glad it's back.
Yeah, exactly. So yes, first episode tomorrow night on the CW at 8 p.m, followed by the new Gotham Knights show. So, or is it before?
It's anyway, before Gotham Knights.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want this to be the lead-in for Gotham Knights, not the other way around.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so that's the TV side of things. Looking forward to season 3 of Superman and Lois. So let's jump into the fan favorite segment of our show. All right, Michael, we continued on the description or the question of what is your fan favorite scene from a particular movie. We've been going through the Christopher Reeve films. We did 1 and 2. Now we're jumping on to Superman 3, and we've got more responses than we do for the first 2.
Yeah, Jeremy Crawford wrote in and said, my favorite scene from Superman 3 is the junkyard fight scene between Superman versus Clark, because it was not goofy.
Yeah, fair point. Thank you, Jeremy. Very cool. Surprised that, well, it's not a surprise that one was a favorite. Mike Zumo said, sorry, I missed out on the first 2 films. First film, Helicopter, Superman 2, Step Outside. But my favorite scene in Superman 3, and possibly my favorite scene in the series, is the junkyard fight between the evil Superman and Clark Kent. For as much flack as Superman 3 gets, I always believed Christopher Reeve was most comfortable in the role here, having already done it twice, and he pulls off both sides of the fight flawlessly. Couldn't agree more.
Yeah. JP Roach wrote in, my favorite scene from Superman 3 is the wacky credits intro. It is silly, but it is fun.
Yeah, it is wacky. Wow, with exploding penguins and we've got people falling over in phone booths. We've got a blind man being led by the paint thing from the road. Oh, it's just crazy. But very interesting, and so much happening in that opening scene, and then Clark finishes off with a pie in the face to the guy, that poor fella who just can't win a trick. Sam Sadowski wrote, I love this segment. My favourite scene in Superman 3 doesn't even have Superman in it, which says a lot about this movie. It is when Robert Vaughn utters the line, I ask you to kill Superman, and he couldn't do that one simple thing. Thank you for creating this community. Oh, thank you, Sam. Appreciate that.
Alexander wrote, my answer for this week's question is, my favorite scene from Superman 3 is definitely the final fight between Clark and Mean Bad Superman, or what I consider an early version of Bizarro. I consider the movie quite correct until that point. After that, anyway, it's interesting that the good side of Superman is presented here as Clark, although it could be staged at the final shirt opening. Whatever.
Thank you very much. All right, next up we had Kenny Crowley Jr., who wrote, what did he write? My favourite scene from Superman 3, 1, when Superman saves the chemical plant at the start of the movie, a very heroic Superman scene, and the many super feats he has to pull off are so good. 2, Superman saves Ricky, one of my favourite Superman saves in the Donnerverse, Christopher Reeve Superman films. And finally 3, Clark Kent versus Evil Superman. Man, this scene is one of the most replayed scenes from this film. Christopher Reeve's acting in this scene, top tier, playing that bad side to Clark Kent. When he defeats him, the music cue and the shirt to reveal the one and true good Superman, and he is reborn, so great, and you hear this theme kick in. Thanks, Steve and Michael. Keep up the super amazing work with the Superman homepage, and up, and away. Thank you, Kenny.
Roy wrote, my favorite moment of Superman 3 is when Clark fights Superman. It's why this was my favorite of the 4 movies when I was a kid. Who better to fight Superman than himself? P.S. The supercomputer eating people and turning them into robots was creepy as a kid. He is not wrong.
He is not wrong at all. That scarred many a kid back in the day. All right, the final one was Luke Lizalde, who said, yes, you pronounced his name correctly last week, Michael. He wrote, He said, I love the interaction between Lois and Lana at the end of the movie. Lana flashes her 25-carat ring, and Lois is thinking, Superman never gave me that. Then it really stings when Lana says, Clark gave it to me. This scene really captures the unspoken jealousy Lois has for Lana. By the way, there is a great episode of the podcast, How Did This Get Made?, which covers Superman 3. Jack O'Halloran joins them and shares behind-the-scenes stories. Thanks for all the super you guys do. Thank you very much, Luke.
Yeah.
Very cool. So thank you to all those people who responded to the fan favourite segment. Obviously not a surprise to see the junkyard scene mentioned multiple times in that. And we continue on. Before we do, what is your favourite scene from Superman 3, Michael?
You know, I love the junkyard scene, but there's something really... It was so informative of my opinion of who Clark Kent is the scene with Lana and Clark cleaning up after the reunion.
Yeah.
And just having like just a nice conversation, and it's a little funny, but he seems pretty relaxed in that moment where she's like, did you ever find anybody? And he's got like this kind of like regret. It's really good. It's so well done.
Yeah, that whole reunion segment is quite cool, and the song Earth Angel and them dancing, and then Clark getting his boogie on and the music stopping. Yeah. And the junkyard scene, you can't go past that because it is pretty much the highlight of the film. So thank you to everyone again for responding to the fan favourite segment, and we push on with the same theme. This is going to be a difficult one. What is your favourite scene from Superman 4, The Quest for Peace? Get involved. The email address to send your responses to is scrolling across the bottom of your screen right now. info@supermanhomepage.com. Send your answers in. We will read them out when we return to this segment next week. So get involved. Superman 4, what is your favourite scene? Yeah, Nostalgic Podblast says no one chose the robot Vera. Brief but memorably creepy. Definitely. All right.
Yeah, that was a thing that happened, isn't it? It scared the hell out of me when I was like 7 years old.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the fan favorite segment. Let's move into This Week in History.
Come with me now, my son, as we break through the bonds of your earthly confinement, traveling through time and space.
All right.
Alrighty, we're going to go back to 1943 to start things off with Action Comics number 60.
Oh, Michael, I didn't grab. I've totally skipped on getting the images. Hang on. Did I? No, I didn't. They are here. Let me quickly bring them in. I just haven't resized them, so they're going to look a little bit messy, but they will be.
We'll make it work.
We'll make it work. So, go for it.
All right, we've got Action Comics number 60, which has a war theme to it that thankfully is not racist. I'm kind of happy about that. We're going to jump ahead to 1963 with Justice League of America, number 19. I actually really like this cover. I especially like that the Atom is like between Wonder Woman and Green Arrow, and it's just so
It's
tiny.
like, yeah.
So, 1973, 100-page super spectacular DC 17. That's a mouthful. Why don't you just say like Justice League Special and get it over with? But you got Superman there on the cover, and the a reprint of the Injustice Society meeting the Justice Society down there, which, God, that's a creepy looking image. You also have Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen, number 158, which we've got Ultra Olsen, because, why not? But it's a nice Nick Cardy cover. I'm really confused. I guess I have to read the story to figure out why those guys are dressed as leopards, but whatever.
Kinky.
1983 is Daring New Adventures of Supergirl number 8, where she teams up with the Doom Patrol to fight Reactron, who eventually came back during the New Krypton era. There was also Legion of Superheroes number 300, another big anniversary book that does feature Superboy and Supergirl. It's a pretty good issue, too. I like that one. 2003, The Adventures of Superman, number 614. We're getting into the era of this book where Joe Casey just went kind of... He just did what he wanted to do. It'd be interesting to revisit this, but I just remember
Popping
he really
people's
kind of
heads off.
leaned... Yeah, he kind of leaned into like a Silver Age sensibility almost. Though I do like the dog in the cape. That's kind of cute. We also have Superman and Batman, Generations number 3, where I think in this one, they're in the 22nd century. Man, that series didn't age well. And we also have a book that I know I have because I recently bagged and boarded it. I have no memory of Superman Last Stand on Krypton.
No, neither do I.
Like,
Not even looking at the
absolutely
cover.
none.
It doesn't jog my memory at all.
I mean, that's a cool version of the Superman costume, but wow, just nothing there. And finally, in comic books, we have 2013. We have Superboy number 13, not part of Hell on Earth, which is great. This is when he kind of moves into... we start getting into his origin at this point.
Yeah.
And it's complicated. So, in the real world, on March 12th, which was yesterday for us here in the States, traditionally recognized as the birthday of Perry White. And Steve using the Who's Who image from the 1990 Who's Who in the DC Universe loose sleeve series. Good job. I like that one. Yeah. March 13th, Be Still My Heart. Seriously. Dana Delaney, born in 1956. Probably one of the best Lois Lanes of all time. And I will have a crush on her for the rest of my life. So, and we're ending on a sad note, which we do every once in a while. In 1999, on March 14th, Kirk Allen passed away. And that is This Week in History.
Thank you. I got there in the end, the images. Had a few do a bit of scrambling, but thank you for that, Michael. That was this week.
No one would have
history.
noticed if you didn't
I
say
hadn't said
anything,
it.
Steve.
I know.
I'm just
I know.
saying.
I just like to be transparent, open, and honest. But yeah, to my own detriment sometimes. All right, let's look at the comic book side of things. And I think you would have been, I don't know, I didn't see your reaction to this one, but DC have announced a new Steel book, new Steel titled...
Yes!
Oh, sorry, Kirk. We'll have to turn you off right there. Steelworks. They've enlisted famed actor Michael Dorn, the voice of Steel on Superman the Animated Series, to write the highly anticipated Steelworks with art by Sami Basri.
Yeah, this popped up on Friday for me, and Friday was a weird day. I was sick. I got like a weird stomach thing for the day, and I had a massive headache, so I really wasn't like posting much because I was really just trying to not have my head, pounding. But this is pretty exciting. Getting Michael Dorn to write it is I did not see that coming. Like I could not have guessed. But it's a Steel book, and I was talking about this last night with a buddy that Steel. He is my favorite of the Reign characters.
Mm-hmm.
And he is the one that has gotten the shaft, maybe, that's appropriate since he's got a big hammer. But he's gotten like the short end of the stick, like numerous times over the years. It always seems like he always comes up like they bring him back and then it just doesn't end well. So, and yes, Nostalgic Pod Blast, Officer Turner from Chips. Michael Dorn, yes.
That Michael Dorn. And Mind the Gap has Michael Dorn actually written anything before?
I'm not sure. I'd have to look. It's possible. He was on Star Trek: The Next Generation. He was on Star Trek: Deep Space Nine. He's on the latest season of Picard. I'm sure probably between like Deep Space Nine and Next Gen, he may have written an episode or two. So, but yeah, I do like that we got somebody who has actually embodied the character.
Yeah.
Being the one to kind of write the book.
Now, the press release didn't say how many issues or if this was an ongoing thing. It's got a number 1 on the top, but it doesn't say one shot. So, is it an ongoing? Is it a 12-issue miniseries? What is it?
I'm not quite sure. I assume it's probably going to be because the Superboy is a 6-issue series, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So it might be that they're just trying things out with like 6-issue series to see what can go to like a series.
Yeah, exactly. But speaking of comic books, this is what we have to look forward to this week, and it's a light on week, but there is a big book in there. So we will have a look at what is... Oops, sorry, Steel, you turn you off there. We have a graphic novel titled Bruce Wayne Not Super. So that's a little cute young adult one there. But we have Superman Lost, the first issue of this 10-issue miniseries. That is out this week, and it's available in a number of variant covers, including Superman in that white costume that we've been seeing around a bit. There's also a black and white version of the main cover and a, what do they call them? Embossed steel, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Version of the main cover as well. So Superman Lost, the first issue tomorrow, and our review will go up on the website tomorrow as well, written by our friend Mark Lax. So you'll be able to check out his review if you're not sure about this one, but it's a new 10-issue miniseries, Superman Lost, where he goes off to do something and then returns pretty much the same, like straight afterwards, but he's been gone for years and years and years as far as he's concerned. And Lois is not too happy about that. So check out Superman Lost tomorrow when it comes out. DC is still getting into their NFTs, these digital collectible comics. And I don't know, Michael, did you get one? They did it Superman number 75 NFT.
I did not get a Superman number 75 NFT.
Okay. Sorry about that.
I guess I should try.
You collected everything of this book, but it was available.
Yeah, I collect everything physical.
True.
Of this.
Yes.
I just want to add that.
Yeah. So it was a 4,000 edition size, and You could only buy 2, and they were $9.99. And yeah, I still don't get the whole NFT digital comic thing, but there were multiple variants available. And yeah, with these things, each digital comic in your collection unlocks the full issue in the online book reader. Read your comics anytime and build your own digital DC collectible comic library. And they even released that as a variant cover to it as well. So there you go.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of John Bogdanov, however you pronounce his name, artwork, he is doing. There's another auction for some of his artwork from around that era, especially the Steel era of comic books, and it's on. Where is it on? It's Heritage Auctions. There are 12 items on offer, including this piece that you can see. There's lots of Steel, the official comic adaptation pieces, Superman the Man of Steel, issues 22, 24, and 26. The auction ends April 2023, so place your bids at Heritage Auctions. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's anybody want to spot me a couple thousand?
Yeah.
I could really go for some of that.
I love John's artwork.
Yeah. Nice guy, too.
Yeah.
Such a nice guy.
There's also a new video game coming out. We spoke about this, I think, a little bit last week. DC's Justice League Cosmic Chaos. They did a trailer, which you can watch at our website. But I wanted to talk about some of these collectibles that have come out this past week. Did we talk about the bear brick thing last week?
I don't think we did.
Okay, so I'm going to... Oh, sorry, John, turn that artwork off. What the hell is this?
I have absolutely no idea.
It's a 1,000% collectible figure, bear brick. I don't know what... It's a Hush version, the Batman Hush version of Superman, whatever. Okay, but why is he... the ears, I guess it's the bear part of it, but...
I'd look that angry if I had bear ears, too.
Yeah, whatever. Also, the death metal things happening big time. There's XM Studios have got their figure, which is available to pre-order now. It's got 2 different versions. There's also Prime Studios have also got their death metal Superman statue available to pre-order as well. So, yeah, some interesting pieces there.
They keep trying to make fetch happen with that death metal Superman.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I'm just not. I had like 5 or 6 chances to like buy the action figure, and I kept going, "No, I'm good. I'm pretty good. I don't need that in my collection."
There's also a Lex Luthor Forever Evil Page Puncher 3-inch scale action figure with comic book that is available to pre-order as well, if you can.
Do you get the feeling that there's like a serious like disconnect between what McFarlane's putting out, and the comics DC is actually publishing?
Yes, it's just like, what do you guys keep pushing these things for? But anyway, that pretty much brings us to the end of tonight's episode. Want to thank everyone for tuning in for the past hour with Superman Homepage Live. I really appreciate you joining us. Thank you to everyone in the comments. We've loved the discussions going on there. We appreciate you joining us for this past hour. Remember, Superman Challenge, hashtag Superman Challenge. Get those shirt rip videos going. Post them on social media. Want to see them. I'm checking them out as of now. I'm seeing where you're going with them. But Michael and I will be back next week at 7:30 p.m. Pacific time on Monday, March 20th for another edition of Superman Homepage Live. Remember, folks in Sydney, New Zealand, South Africa, Africa, wherever it is that you're in the Southern Hemisphere, it's now an hour earlier. Don't miss out. But we'll be back next week at that time for another episode of Superman Homepage Live. We hope you'll join us then. Until then, be sure to check out supermanhomepage.com for all your daily news updates on everything surrounding the Man of Steel. On behalf of myself and Michael Bailey, thanks for watching Superman Homepage Live. Thanks to our sponsors, Douglas Meacham, John Patrick Van Pelt, and Tina Murray. Thank you, my co-host, Michael Bailey.
Pleasure as always, Steve.
And we will see you next week, folks. Thanks for tuning in. See you then. Good night.